Hey, what's up? Welcome. You're listening to TC the G Radio, Season 4, Episode 9. I am TC the G, broadcasting directly from Tijuana, Baja California. Thank you so much for tuning in. We are going to have a great time. The title of today's episode, Conspiracy Theories. Okay, so I decided to speak about conspiracy theories today because you guys know from last week or the other week that I told you guys that I had to find a new job. So I have a new job, So at the new job, of course, I made new friends, So my new friend that I've been hanging out with is Beto, Alberto, Beto. Shout outs to Beto. We have been hanging out and, we've been talking about conspiracy theories and things. So today he was telling me about how he had a Bible, like a very old Bible, and that it was given to him from his aunt, that it was from the 1800s, and like all this stuff, right? Like a huge Bible, he told me. And, interesting conversation, And one of the things that he was telling me, he was like, I'm listening to him, but he was talking about how, he was so interested about knowing our past and, where we came from and the giants and all of this stuff. And of course, I respect that, I respect that. Of course, everybody has, their own things that they're interested in. But I started thinking about when he told me that, just this is me in my mind, I started to think like, why are some people, not saying that he is, okay? Why are some people so obsessed with the past? Like, and again, I'm not saying that he is, okay? I'm just saying like, it just made me wonder, like, some people really fixate on that, like, or they become so attached to attached to knowing the past, that if they don't, they end up feeling like empty and like they're missing something, and I'm not saying that it's wrong or anything. Of course, if they're feeling it, it must be right, whatever we feel, it's for a reason. And it doesn't mean that, it doesn't mean we do bad things, right? It just means like whatever we're feeling, we should definitely feel it and dissect what it means or what the feeling is trying to tell us, or if we need to make a change. If we're feeling anxiety, that's not something that we want to feel on a daily basis, right? So we definitely need to take a look at what's happening within us that's causing the anxiety so we can change it, right? But what I'm saying here is like when people start to like getting so attached to for example, the past. But in reality, to me, this is how I see it. The past, yes, we can definitely learn about the past and everything that happened to our ancestors and everything, right? That's great. Of course, that's going to instill a sense of pride in us, right? But if we don't know about our past, what would really happen? Like, what would really happen? And maybe some people are going to start hating me like, oh, that's what the white men think. Or, they deleted our books and they removed everything and like all this stuff, And maybe for me, it's easy to say what I'm about to say because I'm a very like spiritual person. But in reality, like, we don't need any books. We don't need any information to feel like we are part of the world, that we are part of the greater whole, of part of God, right? That we are here as spiritual beings. Just looking at the trees in this very moment, looking at the flowers, looking at the dirt. We are blessed to be here. Life is a miracle. Just being here is a miracle. Your dad and your mom, when they had you, you were one of the tiny sperms your dad shot out that day, and you made it, out of all of those. I don't know if there's millions or hundreds of thousands of sperms, but you made it, and you are here and you are a miracle. Every day is a miracle. And again, we don't need the past to feel that. We don't need the past to feel that. We don't need to know about the giants and any of that to feel that. And again, this is not to put down, anybody who wants to look into our past. That's interesting information. Definitely is great to know. What I'm trying to refer to here is that we shouldn't allow that information to be so essential to who we are, to our being, that we feel like we are missing a part of us if we don't have it, if we don't have the information. We should not feel like that because we are whole. Regardless of what the past was or what the future will be, we are here, right? God is here with us. We are here with everything around us. And And again, maybe it's easy for me to say because I'm spiritual and I feel the presence of God, and I'm connected to the earth and the trees, on a daily basis, but that is something that we should also cultivate. We need to cultivate our connection to the earth, not just be on our phones and all of this other stuff, right? That the modern world kind of has us distracted with. We also need to remember that we're spiritual beings above everything, right? It needs to be something that we highlight in our lives. And I don't mean religious, because sometimes we can take religious to the extremes, right? Some people can take it to the extremes. What I mean is, and I mean that they want to force their theories and their ideologies onto everybody else, right? They want, the way they speak is not to inform you. It's more to convince you to think like them, And that's never really going to work. Like, when you're a person that thinks on your own, that's never going to work. That's only going to work for people that don't think on their own, sheep. And that's okay. Everybody's on their journey. And if it works for them, great. But in reality, that's not sustainable if you want to do something big with your life. Why? Because if you're a sheep, that means you don't think, right? And a person that doesn't think on their own, it's very hard for them to do something substantial, in this world to help, unless you're Forrest Gump, he was like, but anyway, he anyway, I don't want to, now I'm starting to think about Forrest Gump and what he did, but I mean, like, he wasn't too smart is what I'm trying to say, right? So a lot of the things he thought about were his mom's ideas, but, I mean, I'm basing this information based on the movie, but his mom was pretty wise, so she instilled some good things in him, but that made him a champion, right? But yes, generally we have to have, bright ideas to really make a change in the world, if that's what we wish to do, right? Some people are okay just living their life like a normal civilian, and that's fine as long as they're happy and that's their best life. Nobody can judge, nobody can judge as long as they're doing, they're happy. Anyway, so back to the theories. Beto was telling me that, our names, just having a name is like a slave name, and this kind of reminded me of Marvelous. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he touched on something similar to this about having names, given to us. Like, names were given to us as slaves. In reality, natives, we earned our names, right? It was not something that was like, just here, this is your name, like, this is who you're gonna be. And Beto was telling me it's kind of like dogs, you give your dog a name, right? His dog's name is Tamarindo, so he said, just like I named Tamarindo, like your mom named you, and I guess we're all being named, but when we're all being kind of like back to Marvelous with the birth certificate, that we are owned by the feds, right? We're owned by the government, and they're giving us our birth certificate with the name that our parents gave to us, and yes. But going back to that same kind of idea that I had, like, some people might get mad at that, like, oh, now fuck the government, like, oh, I hate them, yeah, I hate them. And it's like, yes, it's okay, like, yes, maybe it's not like the ideal thing. Maybe we should still earn our names. But at the end of the day, is that really like a big thing? Like, is that really something worth like ruining your day over, or like making yourself angry over? Because being angry and stressing yourself, that is not good for your health. That's how I think about it. Like, okay, but yeah, like, it's not good for your health. I just think about it in that way. It's just, you're ruining yourself over something that is really out of our control. It really is. And going back to the I thought I was recording, guys. I lost like 10 minutes of recording. I thought my phone was recording, but I went back to the names, right? So the slaves, The slave thing, right? We had to, it kind of goes back to like, we have to choose our battles, right? We have to choose our battles. And unfortunately, at this point, this is how the world works. Okay, this is what the government has in place. And we have to play the game. Like, we have to play it. There's no other way around it. We have to play the game. It's just part of where we're at right now as a society, you know? And in reality, you know, here living in Tijuana, things are not that bad, you know? Things are not that bad. There's worst places in the world that we could live in, and so far I'm looking at Tijuana and I'm blessed. It's a blessing, you know. It's a blessing. A lot of money is being they're investing a lot of money in Tijuana, to what it looks like. A lot of investments. Tijuana is starting to look a lot like the United States, you know. And I think I don't think I have mentioned this in other episodes as well, but Tijuana in Mexico, I mean, it's beautiful, you know, and it's just the way that media and the internet and, you know, they portray Mexico to be, but it really is not like that. Mexico is so beautiful. There's opportunities, especially here in Tijuana. Everybody from other states come to Tijuana to get work. I think it's very similar. Well, I don't think it is. It's to what I see, you know. It is very similar to California, how people from other states come to California to get to, you know, to look for work. It's the same thing here in Tijuana. In Tijuana, people come from all over Mexico, from southern Mexico. They migrate to Tijuana to get work, you know, because, you know, this is the city, the border, there's more work here. So, you know, we have to play the game at the end of the day, you know. There's no way around it. So there's really no point in trying to fight something that we cannot control. We cannot control that, you know. So we have to just play the game and play the game. And, you know, the government, they like to tell us, you know, like, oh, you know, like life is not abundant, or like they make it seem like there's too many of us, right, here in the world, that there's not enough resources. There is more than enough resources. Again, looking back here in Mexico, it's abundant. There's so many beautiful places, you know. The world is abundant. If we were back in the caveman days, Mother Earth would have everything we need. Everything we need. You know, but since nowadays, you know, the government controls things, and, you know, they distribute resources the way they want. They you know, the prices and everything else, you know, making the healthy stuff so much so expensive. I'm sorry. Instead of making, you know, and then the junk food is so cheap. It's like, instead of making the healthy stuff cheap, they make the junk stuff cheap. Have you guys noticed that? Like, why are they making the healthy stuff so expensive? It's the opposite. They want to kill us, you know? And of course, like, that as well, right? It's not right for the government to do that, but at the end of the day, we all make our own choices. It's up to us to decide what we're going to put into our bodies and get educated about that, you know? Of course, there's some people that are very, you know, low income, and maybe all they can afford is, you know, some junk food, because again, it's cheap. You cannot use that against them. They're just trying to survive, you know. I have met people who are like, oh, you know, oh, why are they buying that, you know, why are they buying, but, you know, I think we don't know everybody's situation and hardships. And if all they can afford is some food that's freaking junk because it's so cheap, it is what it is. You know, they're doing their duty to stay alive, and that is what it is. You know. So regarding all these conspiracy theories, you know, a lot of people they get mad, they get angry against the government, and yeah. The thing that I don't like about that is just that it's good to inform yourself, you know, but at the same time, don't let it consume you and your emotions and ruin your day, like I mentioned, you know, because it shouldn't define how we live our lives right now in this moment. Some people even get scared or frightened with that information, you know, nuclear war, this and that, you know. Sometimes I don't even like to mention it, because some people are like, I feel like we scare them instead of helping them, you know. They're already like sheep, you know, like, and now you want to tell them that they're like freaking, they're about to die, you know, like they're going to panic, you know, but they're going to panic. So it's like, what I like to say about the conspiracies more than anything is, you know, it's good to know the information is great. It's amazing, but at the end of the day, is it necessary for you to survive, to have a great life? No, it's not. It's not necessary for you to for that to happen. You don't need the information to be a good person. My son, he likes to also question me. Oh, do you think this is true? Do you think that's true? The aliens? Do you think there's monsters under the sea? And I tell, my answer to my son is always, son, I don't know. I've never seen one. It's a possibility. I mean, I'm talking about the monsters under the sea, it's possible. Anything is possible, but for me to really be rigidly say, yes, I believe that. Yes. I cannot say that because I have never seen one. Even, there's documents. Yes, there's documents, but I have never seen one. I have never seen one. And again, it's great to have information, stories, and things to wonders of the world and things like that, mysteries of the world, I'm sorry. But like I tell my son, at the end of the day, I tell him, I don't care really, son. What I care about at the end of the day is being a good person, getting along with my neighbors, being a good person. At the end of the day, that's all that matters. Bigfoot, the aliens, monsters, the giants, we worry so much about all of these items. The aliens are coming. We don't even know how to treat our neighbor. And we're so worried about all these theories, We need to learn how to live here on Earth before we even worry about extraterrestrial beings living in the outer world. Like, homeboy, you're not even comfortable living here on Earth. You need to first figure it out here and then start worrying about the aliens. You know what I mean? I mean, it's great. Again, I'm not saying, you're being I'm not being strict. Of course, we can still look up into aliens. But, my point here is that it's not that important. It's not. It really is not. What's important is that we're being good people on a daily basis. And good doesn't mean perfect. That's not what good means. It does not mean perfect. It means that we are doing our best every single day. Honestly, we really want to be good people. Treat people with respect, with love. Because again, the conspiracy theories even causes riots and things like that, And that's the last thing. Like, we're hurting each other. We're making our neighborhoods look crazy, ugly. What is the reason for all of that, There's no reason. If that's the established order at this moment, we need to follow it. And we need to just play the game, and play it so good that we fucking beat the game, Thank you so much for tuning in to TC the G Radio. I hope you enjoyed this episode. What are your thoughts on conspiracy theories? Let me know. Comment, subscribe, and ring the bell to stay in the loop. Remember to tune in to TC the G Radio Wednesdays at 11 p.m. Tijuana time. Also connect with me on social media to get more of me and my music. My social media and contact information are on the video's description. Again, thank you to each and every one of you for tuning in and for allowing me to share this time with you. Take care. Saludos.